What's up, guys? So back in Raptor today, got the flatbed trailer hooked up. We're going to pick up a telephone pole that we're going to put in the ground for to supply power to the barn dominium that we're building out here in Slayton. So we're going to go pick up the pole. It's like a 30-foot long pole. We're going to have to cut it with the chainsaw to like 22 or 25 foot. Because it needs to be 5 foot in the ground and then concreted, and then we need I believe it had to be 17 foot in the air or something crazy like that. So it's like 22 foot is the lowest we can go. So we're gonna have to go cut it at that. It's gonna be like hanging off the trailer because it's a 20-foot trailer. It's gonna be a little interesting. So we're gonna go pick up my business partner Peyton. He's gonna help us with cutting the log, getting it loaded, and then loading the log, the telephone pole. We're gonna get it out to the site today so that Travis, my electrician, Travis is on salary through ThermoShield. So Travis is a full-time electrician, and then basically whatever else I need his help with, he helps me with. So Travis is doing the electrical out on the barn door that we're doing out there, and all the other electrical stuff too. Travis is the one who handles that. So he's gonna go out there. We're gonna get the pole out there for him so that he can we can basically stab it in the ground, concrete it, and then he can get up on a lift or a boom track or whatever we end up doing out there to install the transformer and the meter and all that good stuff to the pole so that we can supply power to the barn dominium. So heading up there right now. I was just gonna kind of go over a couple things. This thing had a pretty dirty air filter on it whenever I bought it. I was gonna try to clean it, and then I was actually in AutoZone this morning getting a trailer hitch for this. My nice like three different size ball trailer hitch I left on my F-150 that I traded in. So I have to go get that from the dealership, but never hurts to have another hitch. So I just went ahead and went into AutoZone, bought another three section hitch there. And while I was in there, I saw they had K&N filters, and so I was like, man, it's probably, by the time you do like shipping and all that stuff, it's probably close to the same price. So I just went ahead and bought a new filter. Now this one is actually a shorter, like it's the same diameter of a cone filter, but the length of the filter is actually shorter than what was on here. So I know it's not probably optimal. Like you probably want as much filter volume as you can, or so I think. That kind of may play into something that I'm going into here, but I changed the filter out and I immediately noticed a difference, like in throttle response. Like it was an old filter, it was a little grimy, but I didn't realize it'd be that much of a difference. And these NA trucks, they really, like, you gotta have good air supply in and out for them to run efficiently at all. Whenever I say in and out, I mean the intake into the motor, out the exhaust. So that's why on these 6.2 liter trucks, the headers are such a nice upgrade because it frees up all the exhaust on the way out so that you can bring more air in. So more air means you can bring more air and fuel at the same time at the right mixture means more power. So just changing the filter on this thing alone made a huge difference. I can only imagine like going from stock to this setup I have on here now is probably a pretty big jump. I've never driven a 6.2 Raptor. Well, I have. That was stock, but it's been so long I couldn't tell you. I've driven so many vehicles. Again, we're driving on the most beautiful roads out in Texas, hauling a trailer. A little bumpy, but I couldn't tell you how it drove. It's been so long. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that it's a huge or a nice little intake. And I saw a video about this. The intake is a good purchase for like horsepower per dollar. So if you're gonna spend $1,000 getting X amount of horsepower, if you spend $300 on this intake that's supposed to give you like, I don't know, 10 or something horsepower, that cost per dollar is actually pretty good ratio compared to like a throttle body that's like $700 that gets you like 2 or 3 horsepower, you know. So the intake and exhaust is like kind of the ideal thing you want to do for these right off the rip. And some intakes, like the JLT, actually has a bigger tube, and you have to have a tune for that, which I bet you makes an even bigger difference. But I've kind of heard it doesn't have as good throttle response down low until you tune that into it. So I don't know. I think the K&N's a good option for if you're just going to slap it on your truck. You don't want to tune your vehicle. If you're going to go for like the most power, I think headers, like long tubes, whatever catback you want, but long tubes, and then the JLT intake with a 5-star 93 tune. I think that is like the optimal budget for performance. You'll probably be like 50 wheel horse or so over a stock Raptor, and it's not going to cost you a fortune to get there. My thing is with these two things already on the truck, I'm probably just going to tune it with a K&N on it, because you're probably missing out on like 5-10 horse. To be honest, you're probably not going to realize those loss in gains for spending another $500 on an intake. I don't see that. So we're going to kind of go over here. I'm going to grab this chainsaw from Peyton's mom's house. We're going to borrow her chainsaw to go cut this telephone pole with, and I'll update you guys out whenever we get on the barn door. All right, so we're headed to go meet up with Peyton after we grab that. And I was just going to touch on this again. Even like, I'm going to put this in manual just so y'all can get the idea and it doesn't want to shift down on me. But I like, say in fourth gear, if you're 3,000 RPMs and you're driving, even like the touch of the throttle right there, like that throttle response, it didn't have that. And I know that's hard to see because you can't see my foot, but just changing the filter made a huge difference on these trucks. So I highly recommend an intake system. These things are pretty cheap. You can probably pick up a used one for like $200. This filter, brand new filter, was $70 or $65 maybe, and it was awesome. Even if you want it, the K&N tube is not that much bigger than the stock one, I don't think. You could honestly probably do a like box delete and just put a K&N filter on a stock intake tube and still see the throttle response gains. And you get a better sound from it too. You kind of, an open box, you can kind of hear it a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, as far as the Raptor goes, this truck is awesome. These 6.2s are solid. This transmission's still it. Definitely don't regret the purchase. And man, this thing just sounds so good that it makes you not really care about the lack of torque that I'm not getting from the 3.5 EcoBoost anymore. So, you know, to each their own. Some guys, I still think personally, like that 3.5 EcoBoost, the 21 was phenomenal, but for it being almost double the price as this, it's a hard justification unless you just have the money, and it's a great truck. But this thing, for the money, I don't think you can buy a better truck for under 30 grand, to be honest. The thing drives like it's brand new. It's very well taken care of. And like I said in the previous video, if you're going to get one, I just recommend getting a really clean, low mile one if you can, because it's worth the extra $5,000 or whatever to get a clean one of that year model that you're looking. Just solely based on the fact that you may spend up $5 grand more now, but it'll save you money throughout the entire way, and you'll enjoy the ownership of the truck that much better. So just want to do a quick little update for you guys. This will be a short video today. I'll record a little bit later whenever we're getting that pole out to the job site. We got to go pick it up. I got a few more errands I got to run real quick before I go meet Peyton to grab that pole, so we'll keep you guys updated on it.